We got our bed off and the bedside's over here. I'm fixing to go ahead and grind all the spot welds that are on it and where I can peel that bedside off. This is by far the easiest way I've ever found to go through a lot of these spot welds. You just have to drill them using different bits. They take a while. Got a belt sander in there, a couple of those 36 belts, and I'll just buzz through the outer weld on the skin, take my little pliers that beat them up, go right through it. So what I'm doing right now is I've got my belt sander. It's a Harbor Freight brand. I think it's the Bauer, but I'm just leaning into all the spot welds. I took a Sharpie and I marked them because they're real easy to miss. That way I can just point and shoot, basically. But I'm grinding through that first skin or getting it really, really weak. That way when I go ahead and take my panel beaters, it just slides right off. And then I meant to do this earlier, but I get a little Sharpie and do an outline. So when I take the skin off, put the new one on, I've got kind of a reference point. It's not going to exactly go in that spot, but it might be pretty close. Same thing with the wheel well. All these little spot welds, there's a bunch of them. And it's the same process for all the welds with the belt sander. Just running over it, making the panel really, really weak. Definitely want a face shield, and this tool is ridiculously loud. So I've got my earbuds in just to keep the noise down, jamming out to some music. But it's pretty much all the way around this. Drop in the comments if you guys like these voiceovers. I'm still kind of finding my place on trying to talk for this long, explaining what I'm doing. Working a little bit better on starting to do some more talking when I film, but it's really hard to with like doing this, for example, trying to kind of film and talk in real time while I'm doing this is almost impossible because that tool is ridiculously loud. But I don't want to just, keep on blaring music and it just kind of seem a little boring. Maybe sort of explaining what I'm doing. But I've done went through the entire wheel well, and now I'm on the other side of it. Kind of started from the bottom, just kind of went all the way to the top, coming back in. But I'm getting pretty close to getting all the welds done on wheel well. Now I'm on the back side by the tail light where the tailgate is. And I had to be a little more, I don't know how you put it, a little more safer because of that spot, which I'm going to paint all the way up to the bed liner. But I just wanted to be kind of considerate of the other panel and didn't want to tear up some stuff that I don't need to fix later, trying to create as less problems as possible. And especially on this bed liner, I don't want to take the grinder and skin up some of that bed liner and have to spray some stuff or touch it up later. So now I've got my grinding done. I've got my little panel beater, and I've kind of went back on this front side and separated it. Now I'm around the wheel well, and I didn't know it at the time. This stuff has got some crazy tight. It's like a panel bond, but it really looks like Loctite around everything. Next time I do one of these, I'm grabbing a little torch, and I'm just going to heat the panel up before I start beating it. Would have made my life way easier, but I didn't know that at this moment. I was just sitting there thinking, why is this stuff on so tight? The first newer truck that I've done a bedside on, I've replaced a bunch of them, but this 2023 Silverado is the first newer vehicle that I've replaced a bedside on. But you can kind of see like I'm really struggling right now. And if you look on the inside of that wheel arch, that blue kind of is sort of like a Loctite and panel bond mixed. And it gives me problems all the way through this. But I've got some heat now to where if I do another one, first thing I'm going to do when I get my welds beat off is I'm just going to heat it up really, really hot. I done have some other stuff and it fixed it. But like right here at this moment, I got my little air chisel and I'm just going through separating that glue. But if I would have had an oxacetylene torch or just a little butane torch, probably wouldn't have had to do it. So it's kind of a little thing I got to add on to my checklist for next time I do one of these, remember to do that first. But it really, really, really fought me trying to get this bedside off. And I spent probably an extra hour and a half maybe dealing with all this. But we live and we learn. And I'm always going to be learning new things. Especially they do new stuff to vehicles every year. They're a little similar, but then they're always a little different. But I've almost got this skin off. I ended up creating a little bit of damage on the inside to the structural part that I was able to go back later with a hammer and a dolly and beat down and get it all straightened out. But I ended up speeding up a little bit and ended up getting this panel off, stuck it to the side. You can kind of see that one spot's a little high. Got to beat it on down. And then I grabbed my more finessing hammers later and a dolly and really got everything true to where it was and kind of checking around. But I had to do that around a lot of the stuff. But here's what it looks like with the bedside off. the inner structure and the foam and the glue and all that stuff. Now I've got my bedside, and I already went ahead and fitted it and got my hole punch and punched out all my holes. And how I like to do bedsides is I'll weld the front and the back, and then I'll panel bond around the top and then around the wheel wells. And I've seen some people that weld them all the way through, and then I've seen some guys that glue them all the way through. And I just worked at a shop a long time ago where we just panel bond top and bottom and welded front and back, and it kind of stuck with me. And so that's just kind of the way I kind of do all of them. And neither way's right or wrong or anything like that. It's just more of a personal preference. And then when you go to panel bond, I've got my little waffle pad over here on my grinder, and it's pretty much getting all the E-coat off the inside of where it's going to meet up at. And it's kind of aggravating because it's really kind of hard to see exactly what you're doing. You kind of got to do a lot by feel and then stop and look and check and see how it goes. But I pretty much do that around the whole way on the top and then around the wheel well. And now I've got the inside around the wheel well where I'm doing everything. And I've never really done this before. I see some people trim out the whole bed sides. I just went ahead and put a little bit of white paint where you can kind of see it if you got the bed off, but then not really. But I said, well, while I got it all up, I'm going to go ahead and do that, make it look a little nicer. You'll probably never see it unless you get up under it with a creeper, but just a little extra touch. And I may start doing where I start trimming out all of them. Let me know in the comments if you guys do any of this kind of stuff, if you do trim out all of them, or if you just roll with it on the E-coat. I'd love to hear it because I'm starting to do things a little different here and there. I've been doing the things the same way for a really, really long time, and now I'm kind of changing up a few things here and there. And there's our project in the background. It's a 69 Cougar. That is a big resto that I'm going to start getting on here sooner or later. And now I'm taking out my Clecos. I got everything fit for the last time on this. Actually, I think this right here is before I ground down everything. But I was just getting everything fit real nice. But this thing fits so copying tight. I mean, it is really, really tight. And now I've got my panel bond. And this particular product is from Sherwin-Williams. I can't remember the exact part number on it, but it's the 90 minute. Because when you do a bedside, you want some long working time because it is a little bit of kind of back and forth and stuff. So you want as much time as you can to get everything set before it starts drying. And I think the 90 minute is pretty much the longest one out there. And then I think it's like a 12-hour cure. But after 90 minutes, you can't mess with it no more. It starts to harden. But if you got all your stuff together and everything planned out and ready to go, 90 minutes is more than enough time to get the bedside on there. And what I do is when I spread it, I just take a spreader and get everything just real even over everywhere. And then I go to fit everything on, and I've got plastic on the inside to cover the bed liner. So if you're going to make a bit of a mess, or I do, that way it's the minimal cleanup, or anything that does ooze out, it ends up getting on the plastic. And it's just a bunch of back and forth getting this thing to fit right and getting it to seat down everywhere. And at this point, I've done put this bed liner or this bedside on probably 5 or 6 times, and I should be a little quicker at than what I am now, but it's just tight. And now I'm running my Clecos in place, so everything's lined up where it was. I've got some clamps on it, and I put some self-starting screws to kind of bring everything down to get it real tight in the spots where I couldn't get a good clamp on it. And then I'm just going around and clamping pretty much all my clamps. I don't think you can have too many clamps on stuff like this. And I've got clamps on the side of it to hold it tight to it. And then after I get the top, everything situated, I'm going to go around the wheel well. And what I like to do when I go around the wheel well is I'll take a bunch of paint paddles and I'll kind of break them and have it to where it makes like a little bit of a wider area. Because these clamps, when you put them down real tight, you make a little bit of a divot. And if I'm using the sticks, it doesn't seem to make that much of a divot, so I don't have to go back and do any kind of, body work or a little bit of filler because of a divot. And a guy taught me a long time ago, and it's just the way I've done all of them. But if you guys have made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you guys watching. I still get a little nervous at doing this YouTube stuff and filming, and it kind of puts me behind at the shop sometimes because I focus more on getting the right film and getting the right shots than just getting the jobs in and out like I would normally if I wasn't doing YouTube. But I really do want to start doing more YouTube. I'm getting where I enjoy it. I'm going to try to get away from doing as much of these voiceovers and catching more stuff as we go and talking more like in the real world in the video. That way it's not me doing a voiceover with some stuff sped up. But a lot of these clips, I had filmed them a while back and I'm just now getting to them. And that's kind of why I'm having to do it like that. But I'm going to work on getting a lot better. We've got several videos coming out on this truck, just of the different kind of steps we've took to get it from where it was, which was really, really bad wrecked, and replacing, I don't know, 30 or 40 parts and basically the whole side of the truck and most of the front of the truck. So you guys stay tuned, and any questions, please leave them in the comments. I've been checking the comments daily to make sure I get back with everybody if anybody's got any questions. Y'all have a great day and enjoy. Thank you again.